before you watch the spout.
Or if you are colorblind, you may be out of luck for a little while. So Dixie Dash is going to, excuse me, she did not call it off, but time expired on the clock. Jam ends. And looks like one additional point scored there by Slaughter County.
Yeah, so that brings the score Sin City at 14 and Slaughter County at just 1 on the board.
That's kind of the way Sin City wanted to open it up, I would assume. Getting those quick 14 points to start it off.
Absolutely, you see that, but as we've seen already here at the tournament, these beginning jams mean very little when it comes to victory. You can never know what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of game to play. Currently, we got Dislocate out there jamming for Sin City.
And Darth Mahler still in the penalty box. However, she is standing, so we're going to see her back on the track jamming here in seconds.
Meanwhile, Dislocate wastes no time, slides right to that pack one more time, and she'll pick a big 5 points for Sin City.
It looks like she's going to take one more round through this pack, pick up some points, and maybe call it.
Wow. Maybe call her off just a little bit too late there.
Yeah, Darth Muller with an insane move, picking up 2 points there at the end as she jumps the apex in that third turn, second turn.
It is like Dislocate was planning on calling off the jam, but fell down, got trapped a little bit more than she thought, and ended up calling it just maybe a little bit too late.
And that's 3-13 Nicopolis for Slaughter County.
And for Sin City, we've got the Force. I watched them play a little bit earlier, and the Force definitely was skating well all day. And she's showing it again as the Force just works her way through the pack, and she will be lead jammer.
I don't think it's any accident that her derby name is the Force.
Do you think she made up that name herself? Do you think someone gave it to her?
You never know. You see a lot of both of those things happening, but she's definitely owning it either way.
Absolutely. So the Force goes down, stands back up, able to get through the pack, is going to score 4 points before calling off the jam.
Number 91 taking the line for Slaughter County, Medusa.
And I believe that's Bustin' Aces that will be jamming out there for Sin City. This is the first time we've seen Bustin' Aces tonight. Of course, the bout still is early on. Still over 25 minutes to play. And the Bustin' Aces through the pack, and she'll be lead jammer.
Again, making quick work of this pack. If these Sin City jammers continue to do this, they are going to have a good time here.
Well, I think they're already having a good time. Bustin' Aces is going to call off the jam, get her 4 points and quit it. But, you hate to speak too early because there's a lot of game left to play, but at least at this point, Sin City having no trouble whatsoever with Slaughter County. Delayed. So we're just getting a little score. I think it's a little bit delayed, our scoreboard, but the score currently is 27 points for Sin City, 3 points for Slaughter County. Just 5 minutes into this bout. So we're back up again. And I'm just trying to get a read on the jammer. I believe that is Dixie Dash once again jamming for Sin City. As she is battling up against, I believe that's,
Boom.
Excuse me, I couldn't see who that was, but that is Dixie Dash once again is going to be lead jammer. As we're starting to see a trend, as it seems like, I don't know if I've seen a Slaughterhouse or a Slaughter County lead jammer yet.
No, and that's Dynamite Baitcha is who's got the big white boom on the back of her jersey.
So Dixie Dash getting a little bit frustrated. She kind of gets bumped around there toward the end. Looks like she's starting to get a little tired. Forced to go all the way back, but guess what? We have a power jam situation now. As I believe that was Dynamite Bitcha sent to the penalty box. And Dixie Dash will take advantage as she gets 5 points and calls off the jam. I could see that call off kind of coming as she did look tired coming around that track that last little bit. She hit the ground hard a couple times and figured it was enough.
So it looks like we've got the score updated at 32 for Sin City and 3 for Slaughter County. Like you said, and I think, Sin City at this point is definitely running away with this.
Yeah. And as much as they seem in control, it's a 29-point lead. It's a very manageable lead.
And, I have seen once in a while, and like I said, not from this Sin City team, I haven't seen them, but you see those teams that get overconfident in the first period and end up falling apart in the second because they're thinking, we got this, and then, not concentrating or not, playing as hard. And really, if you're going to win, every team here is strong. You got to play your heart out every second of every game.
Absolutely. And that is Dislocate out there right now for Sin City.
And Slaughter County once again with their jammer in the penalty box. However, it looks like she is standing and just about ready to come back on the track.
I think Dislocate saw that as well as she goes in and calls off the jam, trying to get their jammer a little bit of a jump up on this next jam. So Sin City bringing the force back in once again. She'll be jamming. Once again, we have Sin City in orange, Slaughter County in black for those watching at home. So the force takes advantage of the inside, just kind of pushes her way there. And it's lead jammer before the jammer for Slaughter County comes out of the penalty box. The force jumps the apex, but it looks like she is being called.
And that's going to leave Dynamite Baicha out there by herself jamming for Slaughter County. Oh,
well, we would think so, but now she's being sent to the penalty box for a back block.
You can already see this Slaughter County team is going to need to stay out of that penalty box if they want to have any chance against Sin City.
Yeah, it looked like kind of that was their opportunity to kind of take back momentum. But the force is back out there. She's through the pack, and there is 5 points for Sin City.
And as you probably know at home, Dynamite Baicha just sitting as long as the force did, so she's already back up on her feet and on the track.
The force takes advantage of the inside, through the pack again. 5 more points for Sin City.
The Sin City blocker just dragging Dynamite Baicha out all the way around the track back into the first turn.
Force scores 5 more, and the jammer for Slaughter County is out there. She just cannot get through that pack. As the force. Oh, I thought she picked up points. It is cutting the track.
Cutting the track on the inside, and she's going to jam once again.
So once again, both jammers go to the box. Both jammers will come back out.
Yep. That's, it's lucky for Slaughter County that they've managed to have another jammer coming in and out of the box with them. Otherwise, this would really be rough.
The force spins back and forth, able to get through the pack. 5 more points for the force.
And that time it looks like Dynamite Baicha picking up 4 points for Slaughter County. That just puts pretty much the second set of points on there for Slaughter County. I don't think they've scored anything else.
It is currently 57-7 is the score with 10 minutes into this bout. So Sin City opening up that 50-point lead. We've got Bustin' Aces lined up for Sin City. Bustin' Aces, once again, lead jammer right out of turn number 1. Not wasting any time.
I think that's Mama Wrecking Ball. Yes, it is. Mama Wrecking Ball for Slaughter County.
Meanwhile, Bustin' Aces through the pack. Going to pick up 4 points and call it off.
Good move there by Sin City, holding Slaughter County once again. Unfortunately, jammer from Slaughter County going to the penalty box once again.
Boy, that's got to be frustrating. I mean, that was a penalty after the jam, illegal procedure. Looked like she continued to skate into the.
She did.
Into the
If I
blocker.
were reffing, I may have called that a back block. But
Yeah.
illegal procedure, they got to pick one or the other. So
Yeah. So another power jam situation for Sin City. That is Dixie Dash jamming, and once again, lead jammer right out of turn number 1. Dixie Dash kind of dances back and forth, able to get through the pack, and that is 5 more points for Sin City. So finally she gets pushed out of bounds, Dixie Dash, but manages to come back in, and she is going to score another 5 more points for Sin City.
that's right, and it does look like currently that Mama Wrecking Ball from Slaughter County is still in the penalty box. She should be heading out of there pretty quickly.
Meanwhile, Dixie Dash sees that outside completely wide open, takes advantage and picks up another 5 points. So now with just under 17 minutes left to play, Sin City and Orange leading 75-7 for Slaughter County in black.
That is painful.
And it's been really a completely one-sided bout so far.
It has.
Slaughter County looking very overmatched.
Yes, and the jammers being in the box is never a good thing. The one thing that you see with this situation is jammers repeatedly going to the box and having to jam over and over and over again. And obviously, anybody who roller skates knows that you're going to get tired. And
Yeah.
the more you have to keep getting up and doing that. And so it's really the goal to, sit your whole minute and get back out there so you can go back to the bench and be able to sit out. I've seen jammers jam 5 times in a row because they keep getting penalties, and that's not fun.
Kind of that sloppy play kind of comes up as they get
Uh-huh.
tired and
Oh, yeah.
frustrated.
Oh yeah, you start to get in those points with a jammer, you get that runner, that marathon runner thing where your muscles are no longer participating.
Yeah.
They're just failing you, and no matter how much you're like, go, things are just not working.
Like mentally you want to do it. I want to not commit penalties, but I just can't help it.
Yeah. And it's, in a situation like this, obviously Slaughter County knows that they're the underdog in this scenario, even just coming into this with Sin City. So I'm sure that there is some amount of intimidation factor, some amount of a little squirrely. Maybe we'll see them get their act together as time goes on here.
So Dislocate, jamming, once again still it is not a power jam. But
Yes, Mama Wrecking Ball just out of the penalty box into the pack on her initial pass.
So Dislocate already through the pack once, picked up 5 points. And she is going once again through that pack.
The other issue is having 2 of your blockers in the penalty box and only 2 on the track makes it really hard for a jammer. Right now, working a 2 blocker advantage for Sin City, this Slaughter County is going to have a hard time if they can't stay out of the box.
All right, now we got a penalty for Dislocate. After scoring 15 points in that jam, she is sitting down. Looked like it was didn't quite see it. Looked like it was a low block. I think Dislocate slipped and fell and ended up getting the low block call on her.
And I believe that you are correct. Mama Wrecking Ball still struggling, trying to get through that wall of orange. They are following her everywhere she
They
goes.
are. They're making her go all the way back. I mean, she turned and looked at how far she had to go back. And you can see the frustration in her
I know.
eyes, like, really? You're going to make me go all the way back there?
This is something new that we've seen, just in the last few seasons with the rule changes, and even more so, I think, in this season with the new rule set, this stretching out and forcing skaters back.
Yeah.
And, I think that it's good for the game. I don't think it's very interesting for people to watch.
Yeah. What's that bridging? That bridging has really developed into a kind of an essential technique. Which
Absolutely.
Before you'd see it every now and then, now you see it constantly.
Yep.
Where they're able to stretch it out to keep that pack active and make that skater go all the way back. So Dislocate now standing up but still in the box.
And Medusa is up there for Slaughter County this time. Mama Wrecking Ball gets a chance to sit down and catch her breath.
The score is currently 85 for Sin City and Orange versus 12 for Slaughter County and Black. We have just under 14 minutes in this first half. Dislocate back on the track now. Both jammers out there. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. As it looks like
cutting the track penalty for number 91, Medusa from Slaughter County. She went out, and I think she did realize she was out and just kind of gained her footing inappropriately, got back on her feet faster than she meant to.
You got to be so conscious as a jammer, because if you follow them and just stand up, a lot of times it's cutting the track.
Yes.
So that's Dislocate out there. She is lead jammer. She's through the pack. She's going to pick up 5 points as another blocker. That is, I can't see who that is, going to the penalty box for Slaughter County.
It's Bone Ida. And yeah, again, Slaughter County with 2 blockers in the box and a jammer. They're not going to be very effective from the penalty box, I don't think.
So Dislocate picks up another quick 5 points, and they're going to reset.
And another power jam for Sin City.
It continues. Well, the other thing I've noticed, if you look beyond the scoreboard, and I guess there's beyond the penalties and beyond like the lead jammer for Sin City, I guess there are a number of things here. But Sin City is getting lead jammer right out of turn number 1 each time. Once again, before you even finish it, Force is lead jammer before they even get to the pivot line.
Right, and you see this right now with 2 blockers from Slaughter. They've got very little chance, but I agree, even in the times when they've had 4, almost every time, those Sin City jammers have been able to get through all their blockers.
Yeah, I mean, no trouble. I believe Force, I think, has at least 10 points already in this jam. Maybe 15, unless I'm counting it correctly. So back out of the penalty box is Medusa, jamming for Slaughter County.
And she's trying, just getting knocked back over and over by that blocker in the front of the pack for Sin City.
She is. Finally gets through the pack and begins her scoring run. Force looks at the bench and says, should I call it? And they reply, no, give 4 more points, which she does. And I'm thinking she's going to call it now.
I have a feeling the Sin City team is not too worried about letting Slaughter County pick up a few points here and there.
Yeah, I don't think they're so much worried about the points, but I would think just as an athlete, you'd be wanting to play hard and smart throughout.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether you win big or not, you don't want to lit up. Not that you're trying to rub it in, but you just want that focus during these bouts.
Absolutely.
So score is now 114-12 for Sin City. Once again, Sin City in orange, Slaughter County in black.
And Darth Mahler up there for Slaughter County. But again, Sin City picking up the lead jammer right out the gate. That's Stella Blue on her first jam this afternoon. For those of you who are out there watching and you are in the local area, I really do recommend that you come down here and get some live action. We do have a special tonight for our date night. It's just $15 ticket. You get to watch 3 bouts. So come check it out. If you can get here because it's a great time.
Yeah, this is and that is Stella Blue going to the penalty box for Sin City, which may give Slaughter County a little bit of an opportunity to cut into this deficit, maybe build a little momentum.
That's right, Darth Mahler being released from the box. Some fancy footwork from Darth Mahler as she jumps right through.
Well, it's an interesting defensive scheme there for Sin City. They tried to stretch it out and take her on 1 by 1. It was almost like those Steven Seagal movies where it's 4-on-1, but they still attack them 1 at a time instead of all 4 attacking them at once. And she pretty much just slaughtered their defense.
Yes.
Just like you see in those movies.
Oh, yeah. And, the one thing, though, is you see the Sin City team, this waterfall back from that position that they were in of being individuals, those two blockers that started that in the back were already up at the front. By the time she got through the other two, they were already behind in the front of the pack again, knocking her back. You can tell these girls from Sin City have a little bit of telepathic derby going on.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, they didn't give up one bit. Meanwhile, Stella Blue back on the track, picking up 5 points.
Looks like Slaughter County did pick up 3 on that, I believe.
So the score now 124 for Sin City, 115 for Slaughter County. We've got Bustin' Aces up there for Sin City.
And Nika Police, number 313 for Slaughter County. Once again, the jammer in black stuck behind that pack.
And the jammer for Sin City, lead jammer before they get to the pivot line. Now, granted, the Slaughter County blockers have their work cut out for them, only with 2 blockers on the track. And Bustin' Aces is going to use the inside. And she'll call off the jam after scoring another 4 points.
The one thing that I think the Sin City team has an advantage in that Sin City Vegas started their league a long time ago.
Yeah.
They have a lot of veteran girls that are still on the team. And they also, Las Vegas is a huge area, and a huge area, I think, that have a lot of people who do things like roller skating, other sorts of like entertainment, all that kind of stuff. I think you find a huge pool of people. You got millions of people to choose from. You end up with a team like this of all-stars.
And I don't know how long that Slaughter County team's been around. I don't know if you're familiar or not.
They played us this season, and I believe last season they came up here to Eugene and played Emerald City, but I don't think very long.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive at least Emerald City has been here in Eugene doing roller derby for 6 years, and I do believe Slaughter County started after us.
Because even beyond giving the skaters experience, I think it takes time to build a successful program.
It
to
does,
understand
absolutely.
how to develop the talent, how to grow, how to play better as a team. And as that
does.
program builds, then obviously the talent gets better as well.
Absolutely, and even just as far as like training staff and how that process. I know here in Emerald City we have a ton of trainers and people, and in the very beginning, as a matter of fact, I was the person who was our freshman coach. I didn't know how to play roller derby. I'd only seen it once, but I was the coach.
Congratulations.
So there you go. That's
Yeah.
how this starts out, and then you got to figure it out on your way. And so yeah, you're getting coached by people who are really experienced skaters.
Yeah.
That absolutely benefits.
Well, and I've come from Wasatch roller derby, and I kind of saw the same process. Me being there from the beginning, watching that program develop and understand, okay, this is what we need to do to make sure that no
Absolutely.
matter who's skating, we always put forth a competitive team.
Right. Wow, we got Darth Mahler out there, actually lead jammer this time. I'm not sure, but I believe that's the first lead jammer Slaughter County has taken. She just scored 3 points, but was able to keep Sin City back with no points on that jam. So that's great.
Hey, take the victories while you can. That is Dislocate,
Right.
who was jamming for Sin City. And they may have gotten it last jam, but we got the force back out there now for Sin City.
And Nika
It may be
Police.
hard for them to get them twice in a row.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Little pile up out there.
A little bit
Few
of a pop.
girls going down. Doesn't look like anyone was down for too long.
And that is the force that is being sent now to the penalty box for Sin City.
Little eye rolling on her way by, seeing her teammates on the side of the track.
Yeah, she was giving that little signals to them as she skated by. We have the Sin City fans sitting right in front of the announcer or the broadcast booth. So we kind of see those little signals.
As a retired ref, I do like to see eye rolling directed to someone else.
I would imagine. So Slaughter County with the definite advantage right now. Only 2 blockers out there for Sin City.
And Nika Police on the track doing a pretty good job finding some points out there somewhere.
Wow, that was Geneva Conviction putting a big hit, really slowing back that jammer for Slaughter County.
Yeah, this for 2 blockers. Yeah, I don't know this team, but those ladies are holding it down. I've not seen a lot of 2-man packs that were doing what these girls are doing right now to this jammer for Slaughter County.
And the pivot for Slaughter County sounded a little bit frustrated, yelling at her teammates, trying to get them to listen to her. Meanwhile, the Force kind of sneaks on out of the penalty box through the pack and will start her scoring run. So Slaughter County able to put a few points on the board. It is currently 132 for Sin City and Orange versus 28 for Slaughter County in black. So they got off that 12, but still not looking like there's going to be a big comeback anytime soon.
Yeah, I have to agree. I can't see, unless this Slaughter County team is, sharks and they're prepared to just completely blow this away. I think that these ladies are in for a fight for the next hour or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The good news is, the one thing I love about roller derby is, in these situations, there's very little love lost between teams. Even in this situation, these teams are going to all clap hands and at the end, and they're all going to be not hating on each other. And usually, for the most part, that's how that works. And I love the fact that everybody can get out there and beat the hell out of each other, and then still, buy each other a beer at the after party.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's the derby community is great in that aspect, and that's one of the reasons I really love it, because it really is a community where they like the competition. They want you playing your hardest, even though they know they're getting destroyed.
Absolutely.
They don't want you letting up at one bit.
Yeah, once in a while you'll see, blockers get knocked down and actually get up and say, hey, good job to the girl or guy that knocked him down.
So we got Stella Blue out there jamming for Sin City, taking a bit of hit out of bounds. That was Fowler out, pushing her out.
That's Mama Wrecking Ball still stuck at the back of that pack.
But Stella Blue does get through the pack, will be lead jammer. And it actually took her almost a full lap around the track that time to get lead jammer. So maybe we see some good things happening.
Unfortunately, she makes a good move there, calls off the jam, and Slaughter County no points again on that jam.
And that would be 3 points for Sin City. So we're down under 3 minutes left in this first half. Like a little discussion there amongst the officials. I don't know if we've seen a timeout yet.
It doesn't look like it.
There was not, so play will continue. I think he just wanted to make sure the refs were calling things equally, which I don't think the refs ever say, oh, thank you, I guess we will start calling things equally.
Medusa getting through the pack and picking up lead jammer on that one. And calling off the jam immediately.
That was Bustin' Aces.
Yeah, knowing that she's not going to be able to beat Bustin' Aces on this one, so
yeah,
she's just calling it.
And Bustin' Aces kind of gave a grin to her teammates as she came through. It was a very, I don't know if you call it a swagger grin or whatnot, but she definitely seemed like they're feeling comfortable with this lead right now that they have.
Yeah, I would think so.
Dixie Dash out there now for Sin City.
And I believe that's, Darth Mahler back on the track. For a tiny little thing, she is actually pretty fierce. I've seen her push her way through those orange jerseys a couple times, and this time she's picked up lead jammer.
She did a big jump there, gets pushed out of bounds. Looks like we're seeing a illegal procedure penalty. And it looks like it's on the pivot there for, maybe not. She's coming back onto the track. I did not see which skater that penalty was called on. Nonetheless, both jammers out there currently.
Those jump moves, it's a risk. It's really a risk. Jumping off there when you've got girls waiting to hit you. You know, I think that's pretty brave.
You have very little control while you're in that air.
Yeah.
So under 30 seconds left in this first period. Dislocate currently skating and is lead jammer as the period clock continues to tick down.
And number 91, Medusa from Slaughter County, is still struggling to get through the pack.
Dislocate through is going to pick up 5 points for Sin City. And it looks like now this is not the official clock, but at least the scoreboard now says 0 for the first half. So this will be the last jam. As Dislocate gets through, picks up another 5 points.
Do you know if this is a sanctioned bout?
I do not. I am not aware if it is. I was kind of assuming most of these were sanctioned here at Big O.
I know that there are quite a few, but I don't have a program, and I know there is some that aren't. But
like I don't know any reason why this would not be, but there could be something I do not know about. And finally, Medusa gets through the pack, begins her scoring run, and Dislocate's going to take that as a cue to call it off. And we're waiting for the signal, but I believe that is halftime. Sin City with the lead, 155, Slaughter County, 28. We will be back in 15 minutes.
That's
We'll go
right.
watch this.
Mary. It is Mary. If you are holding ticket number 9228860, you just won a 16 tons gift card and Dickie Joe's goodness. Do not pass that up. I'm talking about Mary. We got one more though. If that wasn't your winning number, don't worry. We've still got Rage Cage and Magic Minerals gift bag to give away. And I'm about to tell you right now who the winner of that is. This is it, folks. This is the one. 922854. Jump up and down. Wave your arms around like you just don't care. You know what? That's Mary. I have a feeling Mary bought all these raffle tickets. How dare you, Mary? How dare you? I really wanted that mineral gift bag, by the way. No, that's it. That's the raffle. We've got about 14 minutes probably left to go. Get on back here. Find your way to the vendor's booths. Get ready for some more roller derby.
Well, welcome back, Little O. As we get
Welcome
ready
back.
now for this second half of the bout between Sin City and Slaughter County.
Yes, Mr. Maserati and myself once again.
And
I'd like to see Slaughter County put some points on this board. I think that they can do it, and I'm rooting for them on this.
you know, you always want to cheer for the underdog. I don't know what you say to your team as a coach other than just forget about the scoreboard and just play as hard as you can, and what happens, happens.
That's right, and keep your head in the game. You know,
Yeah.
you see a lot of these games. You know, obviously this one is a huge gap in the score, but you see these teams that start to get frustrated, start to get upset at the referees' calls or things like that, and that is the quickest way for a team to fall apart. So I think probably what they're saying to their team right now is have a good attitude. You know, keep your attitude positive and don't give up.
Yeah. So that is Bustin' Aces jamming for Sin City. She gets through. Lee Jammer attempts to call off the jam, but gets sent to the penalty box instead. Looks like that was a low block. And that's going to be the way Slaughter County wants to start.
Yeah, and Darth Mahler out there for Slaughter, and she's doing pretty good getting some points on the board.
You know, the reason she was calling off that jam was Darth Mahler was right behind her. It wasn't as Busted Aces was able to pull away at all. Darth Mahler trying to put some moves on Geneva Convention, able to get through, and that's going to be 5 points for Slaughter County.
Absolutely, Slaughter County's going to have to take advantage of every power jam situation that they have. From here for the next 28 minutes,
Yeah.
they need to get as many points. They need to James Brains this and put some 45 points on a jam on there.
Absolutely. And you know, it seemed like they had opportunities in the first half, but every time they got a power jam, their jammer would go right to the penalty box right after and let them
Yeah.
back out. So unable to take advantage of any of those. We do have Bustin' Aces back on the track. Bustin' Aces picking up 4 points. Darth Mahler picking up 5. Coming back around in the pack, Darth Mahler gets knocked down. 4 points for Bustin' Aces. And in that jam, because Bustin' Aces was the lead jammer, got sent to the penalty box, that jam had to go for the full 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Neither jammer able to call it off.
Coach for Slaughter County out on the track talking to those referees.
Definitely got something to discuss with them.
My experience with Phil, the coach for Slaughter County, is he is very vocal as a coach. He does definitely get in the mix. You'll see him out there probably talking to these refs more and more as this time starts to click down.
Well, I think you kind of want that out of your coach. I mean, as the players, the coach is there to do the talking for them.
Absolutely. And he's clearly very passionate about roller derby, which I think is another thing that you need from a coach.
Absolutely. That is Dislocate right now, jamming for Sin City. She is through the pack and is the lead jammer.
And that's got to be Nika Police, I believe, out there for Slaughter County. Struggling, but manages to get around the front of that pack, not before getting knocked back down by Captain Geneva Conviction.
Now, Nika Police still working on her initial run. Dislocate, after getting through the pack pretty quickly, is now struggling to get through it a second time and scoring points. Finally, she is through the pack, and she will call it off after scoring 5 points.
And 0 points again for Slaughter County on that jam.
Yeah. You got to include that thumb when you see that thumb stick up. So they're lining up. We have the Force out there once again, jamming for Sin City.
And F and ref is in my way, so I can't see who the jammer is. Oh, wait. Oh, it's Medusa for Slaughter County.
It is Medusa. Medusa almost through. Anti-Hero holding back Medusa, and that gave the Force the opportunity to get Lee Jammer.
That was close, though. They were just seconds away.
I mean, once again, one of those blown opportunities where it looked like she had Lee Jammer for sure, but just could not get by Anti-Hero.
Looks like Force looking for 1 point on that jam, holding their hand up, but both of those jam refs signaling 0 points for both jammers.
They're not
on
buying
that.
it. They don't want to hear
No.
it.
And, you know, as I've heard from refs, announcers, lots of staff members, the referees are not generally changing their calls or their points based on what skaters are telling them. You know, obviously these refs work their buns off to learn how to do this. They're very good at what they do, and they pretty much assume that they know what's going on.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't hurt to try. Stella Blue gets tripped up. That will be a low block called.
And that's number 7-11, Mama Wrecking Ball, heading to the bench for Slaughter County.
So Stella Blue back out there. Lee Jammer gets pushed out of bounds. Forced to move back to the back.
And another blocker heading over there to that penalty box. Darn it all.
Once again, we're seeing the penalties add up as it is a power jam situation for Stella Blue.
The Slaughter County team has a pretty shallow jammer roster that I can see. I would hate to see any of these jammers foul out in this game with 24 minutes still left. There's a lot of possibility for that.
And we don't have a foul count in front of me, so I don't know what it looks like. But there have obviously been a lot of fouls for Slaughter County right now.
Yeah, a lot of the jammers heading to the box, which, you know, you don't see that as much. I mean, this is definitely like a standout jammer going to the box bout at this point.
Yeah. Well, jammers and blockers both. We're starting a lot of those blockers go to the penalty box.
Absolutely.
So out there, once again, we have Bustin' Aces. Kind of made her name known so far. She tiptoes on that inside, and once again, Lee Jammer before the pivot line.
Yeah, and a power jam.
Am I allowed to still say pivot line? Do people still know where that is?
I hope so.
I don't know how long it's going to be before that reference means nothing anymore.
I'm wondering how long it's going to be before they remove it altogether.
That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. I mean, if they're not using it, there may not be much point even having
There
it.
really isn't. You know, you see once in a while a team. At this point, it's so opposites. Like you see a line, you see them line up at the pivot line. People are going, "Well, what's going on? Why are they doing that?"
They're changing things
Because
up.
so much more often now, of course, the pack lining up right there at the jam line, creating a wall of blockers.
Yep. So Bustin' Aces trying to get through. She's going to call off the jam as she gets stripped out of bounds.
And it looks like we're going to start this next jam with all of the skaters from both teams on the track.
Boy, we haven't seen that in a while, have we?
No, we have not. You know, I hate to say this, and you know, and certainly I mean no harm to Slaughter County, but in a lot of situations, you see these penalties make or break a game.
Yeah.
I think if these Slaughter County girls stay out of the box completely for the rest of the match, they're still going to have a hard time taking Sin City.
It is. They do look somewhat overmatched right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just hope it's a good learning experience from them. Hope they can grow from this bout.
Absolutely, and you know, you
come out
assume
strong
they
next
will.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. You play against a team like this, you're only going to get better learning their tricks and their things that they're doing. That's helpful.
So that is Dixie Dash jamming currently for Sin City. She is pushing up against Nicopolis.
Oh, that's Dynamite Bite Ya. Yeah, Dynamite Bite Ya there is a jammer on that one. She does not pick up any points, but she manages to stay out of the penalty box. So we've got a new jammer lining up.
Take
Darth
whatever you
Muller.
can. We've got Dislocate once again out there for Sin City. Score currently stands at 194 for Sin City, 50 for Slaughter County. And we have just about 21 minutes left in this bout. There's the whistle. Dislocate, kind of going back and forth, going the inside, now pushing back to the outside.
Oh, big hit.
They are going to give her a no pass, no call, so she does not get sent to the penalty box for coming back in bounds, but she will not be the lead jammer. dislocate, able to call it off quickly. No points for both teams.
And I'm not certain if there's any cameras picking this up, but just so you folks at home know, we are calling this score from our Rydell sponsored scoreboard. So thank you to Rydell for sponsoring the scoreboard here at Track 1.
So we're back up with the Force jamming for Sin City.
And I believe that's somebody new jamming for Slaughter County, but I could not quite see the number.
Well, the Force, meanwhile, gets
Mai
lead
Tai
jammer.
Smasha. Sorry about
no,
that.
go
Chuck.
ahead.
Mai Tai Smasha, number 18, jamming for Slaughter County. You have to wonder if maybe there's a little change in their strategy here, putting in this blocker as a jammer.
Hey, if plan A is not working, you got to move to plan B. No point trying it over and over again.
That's right.
Force once again smiling as she comes around. Already picked up 5 points as we saw her get lead jammer before even turn number 1.
And Smasha stuck in the pack trying to get some help from her friends, but it looks like these ladies in orange are just dominating the front of this pack.
Yeah, Dynamite Bite Ya kind of holding back the Force. Force gets through the pack, however, is going to score another 5 points and gets the signal from her bench to keep going.
Unfortunately, Mai Tai Smasha not been particularly effective in this jam. She has not gotten out of this pack.
And the Force, meanwhile, picks up another 5 points as she moves back to the pack one more time. And like we've seen so many times before, it doesn't even hardly move, gets through the pack. Ask her bench, can I call it now, please? And they finally say, yeah, go ahead. We'll give someone else a chance. So she does call off the jam. 18.5 minutes to go in this bout. The score currently stands at 2-13 for Sin City, 50 for Slaughter County.
That's Nika Police back on the line for Slaughter County.
And we've got Stella Blue out there for Sin City. And Stella Blue instantly looks like it's a back block. Excuse me on that. Sits the penalty box, power jam for Slaughter County.
Well, this is a good situation for them. We'll see how able they are to put this power jam to good use.
Wow.
The one thing that you can certainly see as, you know, the pack comes around here right in front of us is the little bit of frantic attitudes coming from these Slaughter County girls. These ladies in orange out here are a little bit calmer. They're kind of keeping it together. They're definitely communicating better at this point. I'm seeing these Slaughter County girls looking at that score and getting a little frazzled.
Oh, absolutely. On that last play, Nika Police, she looked like she got through the pack almost about 4 times, couldn't quite make it. When she finally does, she gets a cutting the track penalty, and now the power play has been reversed. Stella Blue black on and has already made her initial run.
This track might be a little slippery. I don't know.
Stella Blue turns it on, gets by carbon dioxide, and is going to pick up 5 points for Sin City. Once again, without hesitation, Stella Blue through the pack. That's going to be 5 more points.
That's right, and that Slaughter County jammer back on the track, number 313, the Nika Police, 49, picking up a penalty, Geneva conviction, as she is trying to block the Slaughter County jammer, and that actually gives her quite an advantage.
Stella Blue goes down, crawls out of bounds to prevent the cutting the track penalty. Neither jammer able to call off the jab, so it goes for the full 2 minutes. 4 more points scored by Slaughter County.
Looks like there's a little issue with the side of the board and the position of the one, which makes it look like a 5-7.
So the score currently stands. There is 15 minutes left in this second half. Sin City maintains a lead at 223-259. We've got Busted Aces in there jamming for Sin
And
City.
once again, Darth Mahler with her signature move of ramming her body into the back of the people on the other team, which works for her sometimes.
An interesting thing happens right there. Busted Aces looked like she got an elbow or something in the chin, was holding her chin as she came around, but she ends up getting called for the high block, and it's sent to the penalty box. Power jam for Slaughter County.
Yes, and Power Jam with lead jammer status, so she's going to be in charge of this jam.
And as we've seen so many times before, right when the Sin City jammer goes to the penalty box, the Slaughterhouse jammer follows. As Darth Mahler now getting a cutting the track penalty will head to the penalty box.
Right now, my favorite thing to do is a block party. It's all blockers. Blockers all the time. Not all points scored, but a huge amount of hitting goes on during the block. It really isn't that what it's all about.
Bustin' Ace is back on the track for Sin City. Moves her way right through, and that is her initial pass. And it looks like now we will not have a lead jammer, so this jam will go for the full 2 minutes. Roughly 30 seconds left in this jam. Bustin' Ace is working her way through, maintains her skates, stays up.
Nice hit, though, there by Mai Tai Smash Ya.
It was
Almost
good, but
gets
if you
her
don't bring
down.
them down, it's not quite good enough.
I know, right?
So 5 points scored for Sin City. And it looks like another high block.
And another switch of jammers. Power Jam back and forth for that jam.
Bustin' Ace is back in the penalty box as the jam concludes.
We also want to tell you about the Red Lion Hotel, which is supposed to be Sunday night's karaoke after party. So let's talk about that last year.
So we are lining up. As I said before, Bustin' Ace is in the penalty box. The lone person in the penalty box is we have a full complement of blockers for both teams.
Oh, it looks like they did send one of the blockers from Slaughter County to the box.
Never mind,
So I
spoke
know,
too
we were
soon.
really close, but we've got a jammer on there. That's Dynamite Bite Ya once again. And making the move, taking the long way around. Dynamite Bite Ya picking up lead jammer.
Using a lot of speed right there to get by Geneva Conviction. Looks like 5 points scored there by Slaughter County.
Number 88.
That's Shabam.
Shabam. It looked like she took herself out on that one. She didn't quite get hit, but she juked her way into falling on the track.
Well, it's almost like she realized she wasn't knocking down Dynamite Betcha, so might as well at least pretend like you're putting forth a big hit.
I think, though, the momentum of going for that, oftentimes, if you're not prepared for the jammer to move out of the way, you may end up, knocking yourself down pretty easily.
And you see some of the really good jammers just love that.
Oh, yeah.
When they see you winding up, they just like,
That's
oh, yeah,
right.
really? Look how long it's taking you to get ready. I'm going to get right by.
Again, as a coach, when we, would teach blocking and hitting, all those things, that was the first lesson. If you can get out of the way, get out of the way.
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
the best way to go about it.
It is, for sure.
And we've got two blockers in the box for Slaughter County, but we do have a jammer on the track. That's Medusa, and she is a lead jammer.
We've got Dislocate out there. Oh, excuse me, that is Dixie Dash, not Dislocate. Dixie Dash out there for Sin City, and she begins her scoring run as well.
Medusa doing a good job of breaking up that wall in the front there and getting her 4 points, and calling it off.
Very nice. So we've got a new jammer, looks like, out there for Sin City, as maybe they feel comfortable enough this lead with 10 minutes left to put in maybe some of these other girls they have playing for them. That is Cherry Potter jamming for Sin City.
And Nika Police. I like that we have a Harry Spotter and a Cherry Potter.
I know, it's kind of funny. Cherry Potter through the pack. She will be lead jammer. Her bench of roughs as she gets to that pack. Unfortunately, she will head to the penalty box.
Cutting again, and that's going to release that Slaughter County jammer for a power jam for maybe 10 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, it would, as Nika Police already in the penalty box. Going to play a little jammer ping pong. One goes in, one goes out.
We've been seeing a lot of that this afternoon in this bout.
We have been, this bout especially, where they just, a lot of the power plays just haven't been there because the other one goes in the right after. So this will now go for the full 2 minutes as neither jammer will have lead jammer status.
All I can say is God bless the rule that got rid of jammerless jams.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have been sitting here half the bout. We'd have been just having walkers skating around.
I know. That was a, whoever came up with that idea definitely made
That's right.
sense.
Kudos.
So Cherry Potter picking up 5 points for Sin City.
For her first jam, she is definitely doing pretty awesome. If this is their second string jammer, wow, that's awesome.
She got a little help there from Geneva Convention to get through.
And we've got Slaughter County's jammer is back on the track, giving it a go out there. Nika Police.
Nika Police, Cherry Potter still working her way through. Got one girl to beat, she does, and that's going to be another 5 points for Cherry Potter.
These jammers from Slaughter County have been beaten. I think that they're all hating it a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see Nika just struggling to stay on her skates at this point.
I mean, you can see her face as she skates off. She basically collapses as she gets off the track, absolutely exhausted. Maybe hurting a little bit as she seems to be grabbing her knee as she came down.
Yeah, I think anybody who's ever been around this sport knows there's a lot of potential for injury,
Yeah.
and I don't think you walk away from any game not sore. I think that's just a part of the deal. You're just always sore a little bit.
Well, she definitely, regardless whether the injury is serious or not, she definitely looks exhausted, completely exhausted sitting down there. And more than likely, that'd be my guess, is she's just extremely tired.
And with a tournament like this, of course, these teams are playing multiple matches this weekend. Obviously we have after parties for every night. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you have to assume, I'm announcing I got 4.5 hours of sleep. So I'm guessing that these ladies are probably running on a little bit less than they're normally because they're working so hard here at the tournament, playing so many games.
I hear you. And that is the force currently jamming for Sin City.
And once again, unfortunately, that's Slaughter County Darth Mahler in the box jamming for.
So the force already through the pack. Lead jammer, I think she's already gotten 5 points. There's another 5 points now for the force. She's now gained 10 points in this jam.
10 points so far on the jam, and she is back after that Slaughter County wall, which is intense.
Force works her way through. And that's going to be another 5 points for the force as she very casually.
Like you said earlier, I don't think it is any accident that her derby name is the Force.
Not in the least. And you see her kind of like she did earlier, looking towards the bench as she comes around. Another 5 points saying, can I call it? Can I call it?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, nah, just keep going. Keep going. There's no point. Force fakes the outside, goes inside, and that's going to be another 5 points. And now she gets the okay to call it. 25 points is what I'm hearing. She scores in that jam.
Wow. That's amazing.
So now with about 5.5 minutes left in this one, Sin City leading 278 in orange versus Slaughterhouse in black with 85 points. So we're pushing a 200-point lead now.
Well, I mean, this Slaughter County team started off the first 10 minutes. They had, 7 points? So,
Yeah.
hey, they got 85 points. That's pretty good.
Well, and I don't know if they'll call it pretty good, but it is good to see them put some points on the board.
It's more reasonable than losing 12 to 250.
Yeah, because I think they did have 12 points for about at least 3/4 way through the first period.
Yeah.
And that is Dislocate once again out there jamming for Slaughter, or for Sin City. Jam gets called off. 4 points for Sin City.
Lots of pants, only 4 points.
Lots of pants, that you said?
Yeah, not just 4 pants. Lots of pants. Lots of ladies
there you go. Yeah.
wearing pants. Which, if you've been in the Derby community for a while, this pants thing totally new.
It's very optional. Pants are optional everywhere.
Pants are, pants are getting to be really popular though. You see more of these teams that are ranked through WFTDA who are heading to these tournaments who are doing real deal derby. We're losing fishnets and tutus all over the place.
Well, and I think that's definitely a good thing for the sport. And I know just talking to girls, I mean, they want to be taken seriously.
Absolutely.
And I think they've struggled because of the theatrics around roller derby to be taken as a serious sport. And I think it's going to come a long way.
It has really, and even already, I mean, when they started this in Texas, they were pillow fighting for penalties. So,
Yeah.
We've clearly moved on from that. And I think you're right. I mean, you don't see any women's or men's professional sports out there wearing silly outfits. So, and, again, of course, you've seen skaters now starting to just skate under their legal names rather than derby names. And I think that's where it will have to go to be taken seriously. But on the same hand, I think we had to do it the way we did to get so many people interested to start with.
Right.
I think if we would have started where we are now, people would have gone, whatever, it's just some girl thing. We don't know anything about that. But I think, unfortunately, fishnets and cute names drew a lot of people into this community and becoming fans of derby. And I think that was a good thing while it lasted.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And I definitely think that the next big change we'll see is the derby names kind of going away.
Yep.
Which may be unfortunate because they are kind of fun. I do like them. But just to be taken seriously as a sport, I see that being a big change.
Absolutely. We have our Skatesophrenics team here in Eugene, the Emerald City Skatesophrenics. I think we have at least 5 skaters on the team now that are going purely by their last names. And actually, we've got girls that are going by skate names on their home team and then going with their legal name for the ranked travel team.
Well, and we see that with Wasatch Roller Derby as well. With those home bouts, they still like to have fun.
Yeah.
They still dress in the fishnets a little bit more.
Yep.
But when they come out to these, that's when they really want to take it serious and say,
absolutely,
this is where it counts.
Yep.
This is what matters.
And, I think the one thing that I would love to see is, certainly professional sports is not without its nicknames.
Right.
I think that there is a lot of that where you see, really famous football players. I mean, there's obviously a ton of them that have come out. You know them by their nickname versus maybe what their legal name is. And I think that's what will happen is these girls will start to develop, people knowing them by their legal name, but also, the whatever is also part of that.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, and that'd be a good start. But it's like for now, I'll meet people who say, hey, my friend Katie, she plays derby. And I'm like, I'm not going to know her by Katie. I'm not going to know her whatsoever by that name.
I know. I feel bad as I've stepped out into the announcer position. The girls that aren't on teams that are bouting, I don't know as well. And now that I'm learning, I have completely resigned myself to derby names only with the new girls, which luckily for the new girls, they're all about derby names. So it works because I don't think any of them are using their legal names at this point.
So we're down to about a minute left in this bout. So there's a good chance this will be the final jam. Currently, the way it sits is Sin City is up 312 to 90 points for Slaughter County. And I think it's pretty safe to say, and it's probably been safe to say for a while now, that Sin City will win this bout. As Stella Blue gets lead jammer.
And Slaughter County has put out, I think that is knock sand on your butt. I
And-
believe that is skating. Yes, it is. Jamming this possibly last jam of this game.
And I think Stella Blue's just going to kind of kill the clock here. She looks to be slowing down. Does not want to get a penalty. Falls out of bounds. Makes sure to roll the way. And she actually will call off the jam with 20 seconds remaining. Let's see if a timeout gets called. And we did have a jammer or a skater fall down in front of us. That is Mama Reckenball. Hopefully she is okay. I mean, I think that's probably the worst thing to happen on a bout like this. At the end where the end has already been, or we know how it's going to end up, for a skater to get hurt.
Especially in a tournament situation where
Yeah.
you know Slaughter County has at least one more bout. I did see her as she skated over here. It took her a minute to go down, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing that it is probably a lot of exhaustion and maybe some bad bruise hits, but it does appear that all of her limbs are working properly. She doesn't seem to be broken,
It
just
does.
beaten up a little.
And she may have gotten the wind knocked out of her. The medical staff obviously is over there. They seem to be kind of looking at her stomach rather than looking at any ankles or knees, which would be the bigger concern. But anytime a skater is down,
Yes.
obviously we hope she gets up.
Absolutely. And it's, I believe, at least so far, knock on wood, I don't think we've sent anybody out on a stretcher yet here at the Big
No.
O. So we are very glad. We would like to see that continue through the rest of the weekend. And last year, actually, this is an interesting tidbit, the tournament Big O here in Eugene last year had a 0 major injury for the entire weekend.
very
We didn't have a
nice.
single skater from any team that had any major injuries that they had to actually go to the hospital for. A few, of course, ice packs and bumps and bruises, but nothing too bad, which, of course, we love to see.
That is a good thing. And we can kind of see the coach for Slaughter County out there with the injured player right now, kind of chuckling, which is a good sign. Maybe it's not
Yes.
terribly serious other than but it was like you said, it was kind of odd because she was skating, but instead of skating toward her bench, she skated towards us. Like almost she
Yeah.
wanted to get away, and then just all of a sudden she just collapses.
And maybe, she kind of got her bell rung a little out there and was just a little dazed. Because she certainly didn't look, she didn't look like she was really directing in one way. She was kind of just skating off. But she is sitting up now and looks like she's breathing okay. And the EMT has checked her pulse and it appeared that was fine. So she's going to head off back to the bench.
And she is up and skating back. And I just did hear word that the injury happened after the clock had expired. So the bout has concluded. It is over. And I think it's safe to say that Sin City has won this despite it being a final score.
That's right. Unless our NSOs have completely gone off their rocker, we definitely have a Sin City win on our hands.
And I just saw the signal from the officials. It is over. Sin City has won it. They've won
That's
in
right.
dominating fashion. That was a good bout.
Yeah, Sin City is going to be matched up again here at the Big O. You can tune in, I believe, tomorrow. Sin City will be playing the Emerald City Roller Girls Skates of Phoenix team at 12:45. So if you want to see what Sin City is going to bring tomorrow, tune in at 12:45.
And Slaughterhouse will be playing tomorrow at 10 a.m. Unfortunately, it will not be broadcast. But if
Yeah,
you are here locally, then please come out and you can watch Slaughterhouse try to rebound from this loss against Silicon. And hopefully they've learned a little bit from this one, as difficult as it may have been to take.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, anybody who is in the area, we do still have tickets available for tonight's date night. That gives you 3 bouts, a men's, women's, and juniors bout. And you get to hang out here for a bit and see all this amazing merchandise and all this stuff. So if you can get down here, get down here. It's just $15.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure, Little
Thank
O.
you, Mr. Maserati.
And I will be talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks for tuning in out there in TV land.
let's do one more line.